Hey Aynsley, how are you? Good evening. Welcome to breakthe9to5jail.com video interview. My member and I appreciate your time that you took today for us to answer our questions. How are you doing there in Toronto?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. You're welcome. Now, tell us a little about yourself, the ParkingSpots.com business, how it all started.
Sure. Well, it started actually about 6 years ago. A number of us were sitting around having dinner one evening and talking about the different issues that affect people in urban areas. And the number one issue across the board was parking. So late that night, or maybe early the next morning, we went online and we actually registered the domain name, ParkingSpots.com. And then we realized we didn't really know what we wanted to do with it. So we sat on it. Every once in a while we'd come back to it, but I was holding down a full-time job. My partner was holding down a full-time job, and we just didn't have the guts to make the leap and actually do it. That was until about a year and a half ago. We finally said, you know what? We have enough experience that we know that we don't know everything, but we also know that we can probably try to pull it together. We've got a great network now. We understand the web space now. So we figured we'd take a shot at it. So we started building the business plan in October of 07, and then we went live in March of 08. And since then, we've been having a hell of a time.
Great. Now, this is your first business, am I right?
Correct. It is the first entrepreneurial venture.
Oh, great. So we would love to hear more about your entrepreneurial aspirations before you just start up, how you were feeling about this whole thing, how you were feeling getting into it, about all the, challenging stories you might have about the startup.
Sure. Well, I mean, to be completely honest, we were terrified. We're still terrified. And I think if we weren't, we wouldn't be good entrepreneurs. Going into it, I mean, we had some experience across different areas, so marketing and sales and operations, logistics, some internet sort of interactive web space experience, but not a ton. But what we did realize is that A, we had a lot of passion for what we were doing, and B, we knew that it's an issue that faces millions of people across North America. So basically on those two things alone and a whole lot of hope, we said, let's just go. Let's do it. So starting up has been an adventure, to say the least. It's a combination of incredible highs and painful lows. But what we're realizing is trying to find that medium happy ground is, it's there. You just have to have the diligence to keep pushing and keep focusing to get yourself moving forward.
So I assume before that you had a day job, so you have already escaped the 9 to 5, my so-called 9 to 5 jail. So how did you go about that? And now, how are you feeling with full-time entrepreneurship? What's happening? What's happening around in full-time entrepreneurship? Tell us a little about that.
Sure. So let's see. Well, we launched in February, March 08. And by September, we realized that this business had some legs and we're trying to figure out how to build it, how to grow it. So my partner was full-time on the business, and I was mornings, evenings, and weekends as I held down a director of advertising, or position as director of strategy at an advertising agency. So I was really busy and I was really swamped trying to balance both worlds, the entrepreneurial world and the 9 to 5 world. And it was insane. It was absolutely insane trying to manage that, the time commitment, the energy, especially when your heart's really focused on your entrepreneurial venture. So I actually had the good fortune of the ad agency making the decision for me, because they let our entire strategy group go in November of 08. And I kind of sat around for about, 2 hours thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do now? How am I going to make this work? And I realized with my skill set, my network, and my background, I could make money doing freelance marketing consulting, 50% of my time, while I focused on my entrepreneurial business with ParkingSpots.com. So in essence, what I did is actually, in some ways, I've been for the last 6 months running 2 independent companies.
Wow.
So parking spots on one side and the marketing consulting on the other. But marketing consulting pays the bills.
Wow.
So I need to keep running with that until we're actually drawing a personal income off of ParkingSpots.com.
Definitely. So that leads me to ask, what kind of future, what kind of vision you have in mind for ParkingSpots.com? Where to go from here? Where you are in terms of ParkingSpots.com as a business?
We are actually in a really great space right now. We've been generating revenue for the last 5 months. After we went through 3 different business models to get to where we finally netted, and that was in January. So we've been generating revenue the last 5 months. We're covering all our costs. We're now trying to figure out how can we scale this business outside of where we've been testing the financial model, which is Toronto. How can we scale it beyond that? So we've got a number of ideas, and there's certain areas of the business that we hadn't even considered exploring from a revenue side that we've been approached by other people to now they want to get involved and they want us to help them while in the process helping them out with their websites. So a lot of partnership discussions are going on right now in terms of the data and the content that we have available to provide to other people. So in terms of where the business is going, it's going everywhere in little streams. So we're just trying to sort of make sure that we maintain the integrity of the existing site, focus on monthly parking, while also developing the hourly side of our business and figuring out, without veering too far off our business strategy, how we can start to grow incrementally revenue-wise around those areas.
Great, great.